So with something like this, with an interview like this, I mean, how much footage do you end up getting to have to edit down? Like, how long's this one got to be?
We haven't been given time, so sometimes we do, for example, we've got a promotional video that we're editing as well, and they needed that to be about 1 minute 30. But with interviews, because obviously we never really know how long the answer might be, we don't get given certain times, but I know it's got to be around about 3 minutes, otherwise it's a bit too long. So that's sort of what I'm aiming for right now, but when I started editing it I had 20 something minutes of...
Is that enough? Did you feel it was enough to make it 3 minutes?
At that time we had, we usually do 2 run-throughs of the questions, and then usually if the question, like the answer given, is either a bit too short, like they kind of just say, they don't either carry on the question, which is what we try to get them to do, because otherwise when you edit it it's a bit odd, or I don't know, they stutter, or maybe they get halfway through a sentence and then forget what they're saying. We usually do reruns of questions, so there's usually more than enough material to work with.
What do you find the most frustrating thing when you're editing? What can be the worst things that happen?
Editing an interview?
Yeah.
Usually it's people can get quite nervous when there's a camera around, so what can happen is, like I said before, you know, they'll be like, you know, what's your name? And they'll just say, well, that's probably not the best example to give actually, but they'll answer a question without repeating or sort of going into the, so they'll just answer the question, like sometimes people just say yes and we need them to say more than that.
Like, how long have you been working here?
Yeah,
and they might say
10 years or something like that, and then like we need them to say I've been working at blah 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 for 10 years, and maybe elaborate on it, like, you know, it's a company that blah blah blah, and sometimes it can be quite difficult editing pieces together and getting content out of it when it's challenging material.
What do you mean by challenge? Like things like that? Just
yeah, things like that, or
what are good solutions if you have got?
If it's possible.
It's basically no context, is it?
No context, you mean?
To what they're saying, there's no context to
Oh
it.
yeah, the best kind of thing is, what we try to do is make it so that they don't write out answers ready for like when we go there, because if they've got a script to stick to they get very like wooden, so we try to keep it as sort of easy going as possible, so we get there and they answer like as authentically as possible, and then usually we always have someone, the person asking the question is next to the camera, so we usually try and keep it so that we haven't got loads of people around who are listening. And for example, we did an interview the other week and we had me, Mike, the man asking the questions, there was another JCB representative there was a farmer and a man from another company, and we asked all the other people that didn't need to be there to sort of walk away, because otherwise it just felt a bit awkward with him trying to answer questions with loads of people stood around him.
How about technically, what things can go wrong?
For example, in one that we had recently, something must have happened to the mic halfway through. Luckily it happened because like I said, we repeat, so we do 2 run-throughs. It happened in the second run-through. The mic went a bit quieter, we don't know whether he moved, like something moved in the connection, but so that meant when I was editing the audio I had to raise the levels of half of the clips and things like that, just to keep it the same level, otherwise it didn't sound right. And things like sometimes the DSLR camera, like I said, we use 2 cameras, the DSLR camera had stopped recording because it has a certain point where it stops recording, so sometimes it's we haven't got the camera footage to go with it, so that way we have to cover it up and things like that.
What's easier to save, sound or visual?
Save?
Yeah, like restore or make. So say for instance, if the visual is very dark, is that quite easy to get?
Yeah, because we can use things like DaVinci Resolve to colour grade. For example, some of this footage, you can see that around here, cause I don't know whether it was the exposure, but his face and his hair are all quite dark. So what I'm probably going to do is, once I've got my edit together, is export it into DaVinci Resolve, and just instead of, because if I put...
Do you know how to do it here?
Mm-hmm.
In Premiere?
What, colour grading?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you mind showing us?
Yeah, of course. So I only do the sort of basics. So I go into video effects, colour correction, and then it's Lumetri colour is the one that I've been using the most, which is good for like it's like a countryside shot, it's quite nice. But then basically you can just change the exposure so it sort of lightens the whole picture, and then you can do things like change the contrast up. On that one I'd probably put it down a little bit. Change the highlights. I try not to do too much because it can get a bit odd. So you can do it like that, you just can't do it to the detail that you could in a different program.
Yeah. It's usually alright for other things.